And now we'll welcome our representatives from Waynesburg University to the stage. The Yellow Jackets are represented today by head coach Dr. Cornelius Coleman and senior running back from Derry, PA, Derry area high school graduate Justin Flack. Coach, we'll start with you with the first question. How would you describe your first year as a collegiate head coach?
A lot of learning experiences. So it was fun, it was exciting, it was humbling, filled with a lot of learning experiences. I have to give a lot of credit to, first and foremost, my wife for her leadership within our program. Have to give credit to my staff, my team, most importantly, the administration at Waynesburg. So from the top down, with our president, Dr. Lee, Dana Baer, our senior provost, VP Adam Jack, and then also our AD, Tim Fusina. It's been an exciting journey. I'm glad that I'm here. I'm excited about the future and what holds for us and just moving forward.
So you've had some changes on your coaching staff as well. You brought in Dave Arnold as your defensive coordinator and Nick Schroeder as your recruiting coordinator. Both of them have ties to the PAC. Describe their impact on the program so far.
So first and foremost, Coach Schroeder and I had the privilege and the honor to work together previously. We spent 2 years at Duquesne University. He's a great young recruiter. He has all of the knowledge of how to gain the trust with prospective athletes. He's been mentored by older DB coaches. So we're just excited to see his growth as he take over our DB room. And then Coach Arnold, Coach Arnold is a veteran coach. He's played a lot of great football, but to know that he has 24 years of experience, he's a relentless teacher of the game. To see him operate within the classroom, within meetings with our student athletes is just second nature. Outside of those young men, we've also had the opportunity to add some other additions. Most recently, we just added 2 former high school head coaches as part-time assistants, and Frank Cortazzo and Gregory Johnson, that we're extremely excited about as well.
So you and your staff have put together an even larger recruiting class than last year and are expected to open camp with one of the largest rosters in recent Waynesburg team history. How excited are you to get all these newcomers onto campus and see what they can do against the veterans?
Extremely excited. The first thing that I will say is, outside of my staff, the best recruiters that we have on campus are our student athletes. And to be able to take over this program with a group of young men who wanted to take the next step, who yearned for leadership, who wanted to help this program succeed and win, they took the bull by its horns. Those young men, regardless of if we were having junior days, if we were having on-campus visits, if we were having prospective camps, all of our young men participated. They were a big part of it. And so they're a big reason that we were able to bring in the class that we are bringing in. And then the next notion of it is, I don't know if Waynesburg University has gotten the credit over the last several years that it deserves. That institution sells itself. So when we bring prospective athletes on campus, when they can see our beautiful landscape, when they can sit down with administrators and professors and talk about our accreditations, talk about our programs such as criminal justice, which not just regionally but nationally is one of the best criminal justice programs in the country. Sit down with Professor Krause from our School of Communications. As you can see, one of our PAC individuals, Randy Gore, that's from that department. It's a world-renowned school. It's a world-renowned academic program, and it has so many individuals from administrators, faculty, and staff that care about that institution. So when we bring prospective athletes on campus, it just sells itself. I'm just good at sitting down and kind of closing the deal, but we're excited about the tremendous young men that we have, not just locally, but then also from the DC market, from the Florida market, from Texas, from everywhere, and even the transfer students that we have coming in. So this program is selling itself because it deserves that and it has the ability to do it.
So the previous question talked about newcomers versus veterans. And speaking of veterans, quarterback Tyler Raines is arguably the most notable loss this offseason. In talking with offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Gabe Lavara, what are your thoughts on the competition heading into camp?
So obviously losing a veteran like Tyler, a quarterback that before playing at Waynesburg played at the Division I level, 6'5", 210 pounds, is a big loss for us. But we're excited about what we have coming back. We have Tommy Burke, who was a freshman who was going into a sophomore year, that started 3 games for us last year, so he has some experience. We also have a young man that's dynamic in KJ Burns, who was a freshman last year, that has a strong arm, comes from the DC market, has the ability to use his feet, his athletic ability, but we also added 2 transfers to that room as well. So for the first time, we're just excited to see competition. Taking over the program and coming in last year, I don't know if we had quality depth, to be honest with you, at every single position. But now to be able to see the type of young men that we have in those rooms at almost every position, and to know that going into fall camp, it's going to be an exciting 3 weeks. That's what we yearn for, and we're excited to see.
Speaking of exciting, it's got to be exciting to have a veteran such as the young man sitting next to you and Justin Flack back. Give us your impressions of what Justin brings to the team, both on the field and off.
So first and foremost, we started re-recruiting Justin the day after the last game. I don't know if I've courted anyone more than my wife, like we did with Justin. So to have Justin back is dynamic. We can all sit here and we know about his athletic capabilities, but he brings so much more leadership to our ball club. He's the type of player that leads by example, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in the community. He's also taking it from that stage to now taking it with a vocal stage. So we're excited to have him back, and he's going to be dynamic for us on the offensive side of the ball. But I also think that it's more prevalent that we do have a few other fifth-year seniors that has decided to come back because they see the vision of this program and where it's going. Individuals like Joel Zellum, and then also Alex Torrance. So we're just excited for the direction and everywhere that we're going. And I also believe that's my last question. So I do have to say this, that you asked me about my first year and my thoughts, my experiences. For all of the coaches that's in this room, for all of the players that's in this room, prior to me taking this job at Waynesburg, I spent the last 10 years at the Division I or NFL level. And coming into my first year within the PAC, knowing football, but truly not knowing the landscape of this conference, I have to say to each and every one of you that this is phenomenal football. From the very first place team to the last place team, every single week is almost a dogfight. And every single week you get some of the best competition that you will ever want to see. So that's one of the biggest takes that I got within my first year.
Thanks, Coach. And now a couple questions for Justin. What led to you deciding to come back for one final year of football at Waynesburg outside of Coach Coleman courting you so hard?
Yeah, so first of all, I just love the game of football. I've been playing it every year since I was 5 years old, and it's something that I can't get away from. It seems like that I think everyone in this room knows that we're gonna grow into old men one day and not have the opportunity to play this game anymore. But then we'll be swinging golf clubs at the golf course. But I think besides not only the football aspect of it, I think the teammate aspect of it, growing, building relationships with those guys, and we are a younger team this year, and so I think to be able to be like a vocal leader this year for those guys is something that I wanted to do for them this year, and to help turn around a Waynesburg program that hasn't been successful probably over the past decade or so.
Last year was arguably your best as a Yellow Jacket. To what do you contribute to that success?
Yeah, so I never take the credit for anything. The other 10 men on the field that are working their tails off collectively as a group to make sure that that we're all successful as a team. I have to give credit. I have to give credit to those guys. The 5 men up front. They work so hard to open up holes for us, to create running lanes, and those guys are definitely my best friends. And then once you get into the second level, you have your receivers, tight ends, and fullbacks blocking for you out there. So so I would be remiss if I didn't give those guys credit that they deserve.
Junior Hunter Cameron and you combined to make up one of the top 1-2 running back punches in the conference. How much does his presence, as well as other running backs like Dagan Williams and Zane Cawley, make your job easier?
First of all, that dude's a tank going down the field. But all 3 of those guys are tremendous athletes. But they're even more they're more tremendous off the field in terms of being humble young men who don't like to take the credit for anything. So I have to point that out as far as them. The running back group at Waynesburg is going to be set for years to come with those guys, and then I know we have a couple young men who are coming in as freshmen who are going to be really good. But I know that those guys are going to continue to grow into young men and be leaders for Waynesburg moving forward. But I don't think it makes my job any easier because they're fighting for reps. They want to make an impact on the field, and so it's definitely going to push me come camp time for me to be better as well.
So between you and the others in the running back room, no running backs are successful without their offensive line. How is your relationship with the big guys up front, and how good do you think this year's group will be? Yeah,
so first of all, those guys are tremendous. I have a really good relationship with those guys, and I was hoping some guys would come back this year, guys like Chase Espin. But I'm so excited for those younger guys like Jacob Brisky and Dalton Scruggs. Those guys, I know how hard they worked last year as freshmen, and being close to Jacob, I was because he lives in Latrobe, I live in Derry, so. I was able to train with him this off season, and to be able to be able to build a relationship with those guys was something important. So.
Awesome. This year's team is expected to be bigger and possibly younger than any other Waynesburg team over the last decade. How much potential do you see in the 2023 Yellow Jackets?
I see a lot of potential in this team. When I first got here, we were a veteran-led team. We had guys who had a lot of games under their belt, and who knew what to expect come camp time and how to keep their bodies fresh throughout the year. So I think it's a challenge, whenever you have a younger group, but I know we have older guys coming back that are going to help these younger guys develop into not only tremendous athletes but young men as well. So I see a lot of growth with those guys. I thought they had a really good spring season, and I think to be able to have an opportunity to come into a second year with Coach Coleman and Coach Avor and a couple of new coaching staff, I think we'll have a pretty good year.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Coach Coleman. The Yellow Jackets will open the season on September 2nd when they host Allegheny College. Thank you again to Waynesburg.